Esperanza.
La Esperanza, right?
Oh, that
La
was, yeah.
Esperanza.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
yeah. Yeah, he had that store for a long time.
So no knowledge whether they contributed to the sponsorship
No.
of the team.
No. 'Cause
So
that-
they did it. They just did it because they wanted to do it. Then.
one way or another, you know,
Right.
they played probably with no uniforms if they had to, you know.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's, you know, I can remember back then, kids would go barefoot to school.
And I was going to ask you, when did they play their games? Would they play them on Saturday, Sunday?
Saturday, Sunday, and I
What
think-
about at night or the daytime? I
No,
would
there was
imagine
no night ball. I know later on, South Colton Park, when the Mercury's played, they brought in lights, but that was way after.
uh-huh.
So it was probably all day, you know, after church, you know. But they played other places, other fields, but I don't think they had lights then. You know, look, even the major leagues didn't have lights.
Mm-hmm.
I think the first one were the Cubs, I think, way back when. But that's it. So they struggled, but they played ball.
Mel, looking at the set of questions that I have about baseball, did I miss anything?
Um,
No, I think I did a good job with
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, I think I did an excellent job. Now tell me about you, Mel. You're a graduate of Colton High School.
yeah, I graduated in '60.
And while you were at Colton High School, you were a star athlete. What was your sport?
Well, I ran cross country and track for 2 years because I had lived in San Leandro up north for 2 years, my freshman sophomore year, and then came back to Colton. And I got started with track over there my sophomore year. So when I came here, Gabe Casona Jr. was Mr. Big
In cross country.
in cross country. I mean, he was beating everybody. So the first coach I had said, "Well, Mel, what do you want to go for JV or varsity?" I'm a junior already. What do I want to go for JV? So I want to go for varsity. They had the tryouts, and I took second. I was still behind Gabe. So and mainly, he was the guy that I could never beat. My coach used to tell me, just keep trying, try and catch up with him. That's what I did. When I went to CIF my junior year, I think I came in 19th, but he came in 25th. So I beat him, which was a more important meet. And in track, that was my mile. I was a miler. My first year, I'd never run that before. I took third in CBL. And Gabe didn't, he dropped out of the track field because, and I don't want to judge or say anything, but some people, if you're not number one, you give up. But he's the one that kept me going and getting me stronger, like my coach said. So the next year, cross country, well, that year he took second and I took a third in cross country. My last year, cross country again, he took a first, I took a second. I took a 10th in CIF and he took a 19th.
Huh.
But if I would have done that reverse, I would have gotten the gold medal in CBL.
When did you graduate from Colton High School?
1960.
1960?
Yeah. So going into my track season, I just won about everything I did. I broke the school record, which was 15 years old. John Cherry, who was a CIFer, he went to state at one time. I think his record was 431. I did it 426.5.
Wow.
So I was happy with that. And then we went to the preliminaries the next week. I took a first. Went to the semifinals next week. I took a first. But going to the finals, I was running against the big boys, the guys that were running 420, 423. And I'll always remember my last race. I took a fifth. And they only gave 5 medals. They didn't give. They didn't have small schools, medium schools, and then the big schools. And no, I was running against guys from San Diego, all over. It was Southern California. So there was a sophomore sensation who wound up winning, and I think he was a 420 miler. And the guy that came in second was from Torrance. He was right behind him. The third guy was a Chicano, Mexicano, Guruli. It's a Mexicano name, but we used to call him Gurel, but it's
Yeah.
Guruli.
Gurule.
Gurule. And I remember in cross country, this guy was one of the best guys, and he was winning all the time. Well, coming, because you go 4 times in the mile, going into the last turn, he was 3rd place at that point, and I was passing him. And all I could hear him saying, and which I should have done in retrospect, he was, "Oh God, no God, oh God, no God." You know who won it for him? Well, he didn't take second. He took 3rd. And as soon as he did, because I never had a kick. In my strategy when I ran it all, gave it 100%. If I have a kick, that means I didn't do my full race. I had too much energy. So I gave it all in my race, in all my races. Well, I said, at least I got 4th. I still have a medal. When I said that in my mind, a guy from Miracosta passed me, Murphy. And I remember all these guys because across country you get to know them. And these guys were great runners. I mean, they did a lot better in cross country than I did. But I says, here, I'm running against these guys. So I said, I got 5th. Then I prayed, dear Lord, don't let anybody pass me anymore, because then I would have lost out. I would have lost out. I took a 5th. And
And then, well, you came in 5th, and you graduated from Colton High School. Now, tell me about the story that your mom told you about being a barber.
oh, well, that happened, and this was before because we got married young. I was 18, she was 15. And
Now, she is Lucy.
Lucy Chavez, yeah. And she's related to the Carrion family here in Colton, who
Baseball.
baseballers, yeah, Camilo, and Camilo's son also played Major League Ball.
And Porfirio.
And Porfirio, but I'm talking about Major League. Yeah, Porfirio played ball too. Neto, I don't know. I don't know too much about if he played ball or not, because there was another brother, Neto, Ernie.
So your mom said,
Well, that was during when we had to get married. And back then, it seems like kids now, they get pregnant and the guy just takes off and makes 5 more someplace else.
but your mom was more responsible and said,
And I was responsible too. I knew what I had to do, even at 18. And, well, mijo, why don't you try, because I had an uncle that was at Barber College. Why don't you try barbering? So she's the one that said it. And because my dad died during the war, they paid for my schooling. So that was a blessing. And I was able to raise my 4 daughters and buy this house with a lot of the money that my mom saved that she didn't have to save.
when did you start your barber shop?
Well, I started there. It wasn't mine at the beginning. It was Charlie's Barbershop. And he used to do everybody there. Ken Hubbs and Mayor Mel Fuchs and a lot of important people. I started with it in 62. And in 74, he sold it. He retired. And from there on till 2012,
He sold it to you.
he sold it to me.
Uh-huh.
Bring in my mom again. I didn't have the $1,500 to buy the shop. My mom, she loaned me it. And I paid it back in a year.
So you had the barber shop for how many years now?
Well, from the time I started there to 2012, I was there 50 years. Maybe I didn't own it for 50 years, but I was there 50 years. How many people stay at their job for 50 years?
And then you retired when, Mel?
At the end of 2012, I found out I had two blocked arteries. They couldn't work them. No stents, no open heart surgery. So I said to myself, this is a wake-up call. I says, in retrospect, I said, this is my call. And I look back now, because I'm into the church right now. I'm not a Catholic anymore, but I'm a Christian. I believe in Jesus Christ, as we all do. That I told people later on, I think that was my call. God says, like with Peter, leave. Just leave your boat. That was my boat. So I left. And he said, I'll take care of you. Now I'm going through a lot of stuff now. I got through my I'm doing okay with my thing, my plugged arteries. Then later I found out I had cancer in my stomach. Got rid of that. Then they found some spots in my lungs. I went to get a CAT scan, and they say the thing shrunk, and it was too small to give it a biopsy. So they say, well, tomorrow I'm going for another CAT scan to see if hopefully it's gone, and or if not, I do what I got to do. Like I tell people now, because I've lost about 45, 50 pounds.
I know, because when I
just,
saw you a year ago.
Yeah, people say, "Oh, Mel, you're looking good." This is probably the weight I should be, but my arms are flabby, and I got more skin, and
Yeah, that's la bola.
the bola.
That's la bola.
That we can't get away from.
No.
But like I tell people, especially at church, I tell them, you know what, I'm living here, and I'm not eating like I should, and I'm losing a lot of weight. But I'm getting fat with Jesus Christ, with the Word.
Uh-huh.
And they understand, because we're supposed to take the Word from Jesus Christ, but we're also supposed to give it back. Maybe the old saying, it's better to give than receive. Well, no, it's better to receive from Jesus Christ, and then you give back.
And then
That's my philosophy.
And then you mentioned your family. How many daughters did you have?
I've got 4 daughters.
Uh-huh.
I got 50, 51, 49, and 47. I said in 3 more years, all my daughters will be 50 and over.
Uh-huh. Grandkids?
I got 10 grandkids,
Uh-huh.
and we've got 10 great-grandkids.
You're kidding.
We just had our 10th one.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
That's wonderful, Lucy.
Yeah.
And I tell everybody,
Congratulations.
I don't have money in the bank. I've never made a lot of money, but God got me through this. And my riquezas are my kids.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And your wonderful contribution not only to your family, but also to the community, Mel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mel, the other thing is we've gone through, it's almost an hour that we started our interview today. Are there any things that I've missed, Mel, or any stories that you would like to share with us that we didn't mention in our interview today?
As far as
maybe I could ask you, what was the best thing that you got out of doing your research on the old timers in Colton?
I didn't know any of these. Maybe Sal I might have met years and years ago, but I just remembered him when he was bald, kind of. I'm not going to say fat, but he was a big guy.
Gordito.
Gordito. Yeah. But after doing this, I know him. And I'm just so proud that I could get them in. Proud for their families. And there's probably a lot of families that don't even know what I've done. That's why a lot of the families of Ambrosio Gonzalez and Joe Gonzalez, I'm going to have to find out through more research so I can get them to be there at the induction in April. So that's a done deal. They made it. So, and probably a lot of their family don't know that their great-grandparents played ball. And that's my satisfaction. That's why it's important to me. And I think it's important to the community. Everybody in South Colton. That they know that they've got a lot of history there. A lot of history, a lot of baseball history. More so than football or basketball. It's baseball. Those are the roots of, and not just here, San Bernardino. There was hundreds of teams in Santana and Cucamonga and where's your dad from? Cucamonga, yeah, Cuca. But there was so many, and they've had the same thing as we did. She's got a comadre that lives in Kansas, and every year they have a get-together with all the old-time ball players, Latino ball players. They have a fiesta, and they come from all over, and they have like a tournament. So it wasn't just here, it's all over. I imagine Texas must have had oodles of, yeah. Because the Carrasco, not the Carrascos, but...
yeah, the Carrascos are from Texas?
Yeah. El Paso, I guess. You knew Gomez, Felix Gomez.
Oh, yes. The father was worked for Squires Lumber.
Yeah, and his brother
Lumber
worked for,
Company,
I
and all the
think-
brothers were baseball.
right?
And
Willie
then,
Gomez, yeah.
Yeah, Robert Bobby
Yeah,
Carrasco
I know
married
Bobby.
into that family.
Right, the Gomez, yeah.
Hmm.
So there's a lot of baseball in that family, you know. Yeah, I know Bobby very well. Yeah, him and Pete and Danny, great people.
Well, your other project seems to be something that we should get together again,
Okay,
like we did today,
for the Mercury's
and talk about your research
Yeah,
and what you came up with,
yeah,
and some of the things that, some of the stories that you will be able to tell us
right,
about the players, and also some of the team activities.
right.
So
Right.
looking forward to that, Mel.
Okay,
And Mel,
me too.
your contribution is a tremendous legacy to the city of Colton, and I think it's long been overdue. And I congratulate you
Right.
for doing this thing. This
'Cause I'm
not
thinking-
only for the city
right.
but also for our community,
Right.
our Mexican American community. So thank you very much, Mel. And
You're
could we
welcome.
give you a round of applause? Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
You're welcome. I still have strong feelings. So I don't know if there's any other ball teams that I'm going to be able to, because I think this would be my last one. I know the guy at the museum, Mike Murphy's been wanting me to go to help because they don't have a lot of help there. So I could do that in the future. Just greet people there or something. And then, what's the new councilwoman's name?
Zamora's daughter. What's her name?
Is she my councilman?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Zamora Jorin.
Maureen?
Yeah.
Yeah, she saw me at Staters that she wants me to be in a,
Summer.
yeah. She saw me here at Staters and wanted me to join a commission of some sort of history or something. But I couldn't give her an answer because right now I'm going through a lot and
No.
I don't want to commit myself to. And if I can give it my full, then I don't really even get started.
Well, with these two interviews that we've had, the women's baseball and now these old-timer baseball,
Yeah,
you have given it all
I think so.
all the ganas that you placed in these
Yeah.
in these
Yeah,
projects.
if I would have started when I was younger, you know, but
Mel, that's what I say.
yeah,
Yeah, that's what I said. I
I
should
know.
have started this project when I was younger. But it's never too late.
no, no.
Well, thank you so much, Mel.
Thank you, thank you. God bless.
A quick question. What was the name of your barber shop and how did it get that name?
Oh, Los Hermanos, not hermanos. Like a lot of people, oh, ¿cómo que? Oh, Hermanos. Back in 78, my brother came in with me, Al Salazar. And he came in as a partner. And he said, well, we want to change the name because at that point it was Mel's Barber Shop. Because after Charlie's Barber Shop, it was Mel's, and then with him coming in, he's the one that picked that name, Los Hermanos. Because of the hair, it's a barbershop, you know. If it would have been a hamburger stand, no way you can use hair, you know. So it fit in, and it's an unusual name, and it's catchy once people see it. Oh, it's not, Hermanos. Hairy hands, you know, but it fit, and even after he left, because he was only there, I'm going to say from 78 to 85, because he went into corrections after that, but I kept the same name. So that's how that name.
Well, thank you for answering that.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that, but it was I don't know. I've been blessed with a lot of years, hopefully a lot more. Now that I got into the church, you know, that's why I say I'm young. It makes me young because I don't know a lot. I'm not the type of guy say, hey, John 8, 12. I'm not that type of a yet. And I may never get there. But I love reading the Bible. I love reading the scriptures. And that's what's keeping me going. That's what's keeping me fed. And now I got like our pastor said last Sunday, in fact, I didn't go to this Sunday. I felt kind of sick today. So he says, you can't just be reading and taking it all in. You got to release. You got to empty it out. And he means by that, what you learn, you disciple.
Well, you did a good job today. Thank you.
I'm glad
Thank
I
you.
fit that in with you guys because I always, if the door's open, I'm gonna go in there. I'm gonna disciple.